So somebody asked me, why don't I share my TRT story? So I'll share it now. I am going to be 46 years old in the middle of January. I am married. I have two children, a 10-year-old and an 8-year-old. I'm a contractor. I've worked in the construction business since I was like 13. My neighbor was a contractor. My dad made me go work with him in the summer, and that's where I ended up. So my journey began when I was 40. I was watching the Army-Navy football game, and I thought I was having a heart attack. Ended up in the hospital. Ended up being a panic attack, which they gave me Klonopins for, and then told me to get an appointment with the primary care doctor. So the next week I meet the primary care doctor. He explains to me, well, he prescribes me Lexapro and Klonopins. The Lexapro to take every day, the Klonopins to take as needed. But he mentioned that, there's hormone fluctuations in your body can cause anxiety and all this stuff. So, of course, I come home, I get on Dr. Google, and I start looking up all these things. And I come across testosterone replacement therapy a few times and all these different things, but it never really sank in, whatever. So I let it ride because I was feeling good for a couple years. Then I was watching I was listening to the Joe Rogan podcast, and Joe Rogan was talking about TRT. So when I was listening to that, I was thinking, oh my God, I remember hearing about that or reading about that. So still at that point, never put one and one together. Again, I'm a construction worker, not a genius. And I let it go for a little bit longer. And then I think I came across a video of Dr. Andrew Huberman. Now, I don't know if it was on Rogan's podcast or on his own. I don't remember that, but I do remember watching a video of him. So I put the video on, and it was about hormones and testosterone replacement and all this stuff. So I pressed play. Like 9 seconds into it, my ADD kicks in. I fast forward because that's what I do. I fast forward to a spot. I let it play, and as soon as I let it play, he says morning erections. So of course I was like, "Oh, what's that now?" So I rewind it, and he said one of the symptoms of low testosterone is no morning erections. So I thought to myself, all right, well, that's something to look for. So I made sure that the next 5 days, when I woke up, tried to make sure. And all 5 days, nothing. So I said, okay, I think I might have low testosterone. So of course I go right back to Dr. Google, and it tells me, there's a list of TRT clinics, but then there's ways to do it naturally. So I said, I'm going to do this before I start injecting and start doing all this. I'm going to try to raise my testosterone naturally because, I can do this. So I get my blood taken. Testosterone comes back at like 277, 280. So I said, all right, this is the baseline. So I come up with a plan. I'm going to eat carnivore. I'm going to make sure I get 8 hours of sleep. I'm going to, the vitamin D from the sun wasn't a problem. I work outside, so that was one thing that was good. But then the gym, I'm going to lift really heavy because it says that if you lift heavy weights, it boosts your testosterone. So I said, I'm going to do this for the next 6 months. So I got 4.5 months in. My shoulders were killing me. My knees were killing me. But I said, I feel like different. I'm going to get my blood work done again, see my test is at. It's got to be jacked. So I go and I get it done, and it skyrocketed. It went from like 270 or 280, whatever it was, all the way up to 289. And then I said, all right, well, obviously this isn't working. So I started to consider actually getting on testosterone replacement therapy. I went to a clinic and it was good. Problem was is that I didn't know anything. I was just going off of um, their way of doing things, their protocol. Um, so they started me out at 200 megs a week, one injection. Um, I think I did that for a couple weeks before I started this account. And the reason I started this account is I was telling my wife, I said, I think I want to start an account about TRT because I'd like to get like 1,000 guys that are involved and we could just kind of bounce ideas off of one another because it's kind of hard to kind of get like any information without, it's like everyone's either trying to sell you something to get you to join their clinic or it's a doctor or a prescriber and they start talking and they start using medical terms and all this stuff, and I just kind of like my eyes glaze over, and I was like, man, if I do this account, I can talk to guys that are doing it, and we can just talk like two dudes that are just on it and like bounce ideas off of one another. So we started this account, and it went to 1,000 followers pretty quickly, and I learned more in like the first month than I ever thought I was going to learn at all. So I would go back to the clinic and say, hey, these single week injections isn't the way to go. You got to do at least 2 times. They were like, no. On top of that, they were already giving me an AI. So the guys were telling me, if you don't have symptoms, so I would go back. So eventually, they did give me 2 shots a week. They broke down and gave me 2 shots a week. Still with the AI. So I was questioning them on a lot of things just from things based off of TikTok. And their response was basically like, what do the guys on TikTok know? And I was like, well, you'd be shocked. I ended up leaving that clinic. And I stayed with them for a year and a half. And then I ended up going to, I found Virtus Men's Health, which is the clinic I use now. And Josh is really good, really smart, and I'm thrilled. So right now my protocol is 180 mgs a week. I pin Monday, Wednesday, Friday. My life has changed in the fact that my energy is through the roof. The gym, my performance in the gym is like when I was in my 20s. I'm putting on muscle. I'm excited to go to the gym. Like I can't wait. My sleep is unconscious. Like when I sleep, I am out cold. My libido is very high. I don't mind it. My wife is not thrilled with it, but she doesn't hate it either. My overall well-being has been dramatically different. I no longer take Lexapro. My anxiety has it's down 90%, I would say. It's not completely gone, but it's fixed 90% of it. I still do have Klonopins and I only take a quarter of one pill. Occasionally, maybe I've taken 3 of them over the last 18 months. So compared to, going through a bottle every 2 months. So that's changed dramatically in my life. So for anyone questioning whether they want to do this or not, I mean, don't jump right into it. I tried to do it the natural way too. But from my personal opinion, I think my wife and my children would agree that it has changed the game for sure and in a positive way. So that's my story. And I look forward to, in this next year, talking with as many guys as possible about their stories so that, guys that can relate to each other about, hey, I have those symptoms. I have this. I work in this. Like, I can relate. Maybe I should get on it. And just bouncing ideas off of each other because I've learned a lot. I'd like to teach guys, and let's see what we can do. So that's my story. I'll see you guys later.